security backported, I don't care. Name of the distribution, yeah, it's all related to the extra information disclosure. So let me go around again and do a quick change on the system. Fail. Yeah. And let's actually restart the demo again. Demo scan. So, going on to week 3. Who wants to guess what Mr. Seccubus does? Well, he uses his sender scanner, gets up early, sleeps in the office, then waits for it to finish, sleeps under his desk, analyzes his results analyzes a big fucking report in the morning. Be right, lad. Uses Seccubus. So, again, he just goes home, has a good time, plays some pinball, scans the stuff at night, wakes up in the morning, and happily can analyze and remediate his findings. Now, one of the questions I get a lot is what's the name about? It's been asked a couple of times, so I tried to insert it in the presentation. It's not about the succubus. That's a demon that comes and has sex with male guys and wears them out. It's something like that, because everything you do should lead to more sex. The Seccubus is its distant cousin. It's a cousin of the Seccubus. It's the female cousin of the Seccubus. The Seccubus is the male cousin of the Succubus, and it actually tries to wear security people out by making them read the same report over and over again. The Seccubus, on the other hand, tries to wear the vulnerabilities and system administrators out by keep reminding them that there are vulnerabilities out there in the network and you should fix your shit. And it doesn't actually cost me as the security guy a lot of time to keep reminding you that. It costs you time to deal with me. Like the Succubus, it's a creature of the night or any other time you choose it to schedule. So let's see if it's actually already finished. No, that would be too soon. Yeah, let me go on by telling you how we use it in the company I work for. We provide mission critical outsourcing services to companies like banks and energy trading floors and online shops. So we really wanted to scan all our external IP addresses regularly. And yeah, the thing is, it's big companies. So what we do is we scan. I started writing Seccubus at somewhere in 2007, and I did a measurement in 2009, and I was scanning a total of 4,000 IP addresses. And that resulted in a total of over 8,500 Nessus findings. So who wants to have a guess at how long that took to analyze every month? Month? Yeah, that's what we're trying to avoid. I could actually do it with the amount of change we have. I could analyze this stuff in about a day and a half. So that's quite a big reduction. We're not the only ones using it. It's used by a Dutch provider of virtual hosting services, a science institute, some defense contractors, and some other companies that use this as well. The community is growing. It would be very nice if you told me you use it, so I can actually know that what I do makes sense. Yeah, let's go see. Demo's finished. So I'm not going to go through, don't worry, I'm not going to go through the all ticking off again, but just to show you that the amount of findings, there's the 4 findings that changed, which were the ones that changed when we put the header in, and now we're taking the header out again. And there's another 3 findings that are gone. So you can see it really winding down. It's taking less and less time to analyze these findings. So recapping, if you want to be masochistic and you want to continue using your scanner and the standard reporting capabilities, it means you have to get up early. You have to look at non-informative stuff like trace routes every month. You get a lot of boring, repetitive work. And I don't know about you, but I hate that shit. I like to do interesting stuff, like to actually deal with the issues at hand. And it means you got a lot of work, even if your infrastructure did not change. On the other hand, if you use Seccubus monthly, weekly, whatever you like, it means you can schedule your scans. You only have to look at the findings that need your attention. It means you have less errors because you got less repetitive work to do. And you get a better balance between the amount of changes in your network and the amount of work that you do. And if a network changes frequently, it means that there's actually a bigger security risk as well. So by cleverly comparing stuff that's relevant, you can actually cut quite a lot of fat out of the analysis process. So why did we choose to release the tool as open source? Well, it was because we needed it. First of all, we built it just to make our own lives easier, and then we decided, okay, we use a lot of open source software, let's give something back to the community. So it's GPL version 2 if you want to use it. So what's ahead for future versions of the product? Well, we want to put in a database backend. Using the file system is maybe convenient and easy to program, but it becomes a hassle once your program grows, and it actually gets slower and slower when you store more and more findings. It will also be easier to make a link between findings and issues. Issues is something we'll introduce in version 2, which will mean, okay, I've made this configuration mistake and it shows up in 4 findings. There's other findings that actually show more issues. We want to support more scanners. We're going to support NICTO in version 1.5. We want to support Nmap in version 2.0, Metasploit and Metasploit Express in version 2.1. And one of the reasons I'm here is to solicit your opinions about what other shit we should include and be compatible with. We plan to make it a more open architecture with things like maybe pluggable authentication, maybe trouble ticketing integration, and more reporting. Things like graphs, dashboards, audit trails, who did what, trends over time. I don't know what you guys need, tell me. Our ultimate goal, well, we failed at it this year, is actually to become sort of a middle hub for this kind of information. So get everything in, analyze it, and be the platform to use to analyze and report on this stuff. If we want to do that, we need your help. Well, as you could clearly see, we need user interface designers, because I suck at that. But people who want to code, people who get us requirements, reports designers, testers, and people to use it. Now, speaking of help, I was bitching to Jebra over there about Metasploit Express integration at the speakers party, was it 2 days ago? So he said, no worries, I'll do that for you. So I got up in the morning and saw, okay, time to write some code. And I'm like, let's tease him a little bit. Are you finished yet? Well, he said I need some sample output, so I suggested that he get in contact with Rapid7. And then a couple of hours later, I see something like generating XML test data. So I like, oh my God, I have to change my slides now. So I go to the 10,000 cent hacker pyramid. Guess who's sitting there, not having completed that yet. But halfway through the pyramids, all tests are passing. And this morning he tweets that he will be releasing his beta. And I made a promise that I would actually change my slides. So there you go, Jebra. He's Jebra, he codes in Perl. So yeah, Metasploit Express integration in version 2.0. Actually, today we'll be releasing version 1.5. It should be up on our site in 15-20 minutes, depending on the length of Q&A. And it will include NICTO scanning. I talked to Chris Sulo and I said, listen, you really need MBE output for NICTO. And he wasn't, so I decided to do it for him. I wrote him a module that actually outputs MBE. So version 2.1.3, which was released before DEFCON, so I could make this announcement. Thanks for that. That's actually the version that you need, and I've got another demo of that. So on the virtual machines, I've got that other web server running here. So that's the one we'll be scanning. And I created a new scan configuration for it. So do the demo NICTO scan, and it's running in the background. Other stuff we put in there, we heard about people that it's actually hard to install. So I got a colleague of mine, Peter Slootweg, to actually create a RPM for it. So you can install it on Fedora-based systems. Compliance, some of us actually have to deal with compliance, and it's nice that you can actually get that Nessus output in there as well. The difference between normal output and compliance output is that normal output comes on one line for each finding, and the compliance output is a lot of lines per finding, so I had to find a way to deal with it. And like I said, the NICTO scanning, so let's see what that looks like if it's finished. Good question. There is support for different locations in the scanning engines that work with client-server architecture. So Nessus and OpenVAS, you talk with a client to it. In each scan, you can have a separate configuration. So you could say, I only want to port scan this, and I only want to do a full scan there, but you can also specify another scanner. Then what you do is stick a scanner in that network. So you put a Nessus engine in that network, and you connect to that engine, and it scans locally. So you have to buy 2 Nessus licenses or get OpenVAS. Yeah. Yeah, that's no problem. You can just separate that out. I don't care that there's an overlap in IP, because every job is in an isolated environment. Any other questions while we wait for the scanning to finish? Can you manually feed data? You can not very easily in this version, but if you'll contact me afterwards, I'll show you how to do it. The second version that we're working on will actually have an upload function, so that you can take your scanner output and upload it, as well as a manual finding category where you go, okay, I telneted to this port, it's confirmed, and input that. So here's what a NICTO scan looks like in Seccubus. Again, it looks pretty similar. You get the 14 lines of output that are normally in a single finding, single plugin in Nessus. You now actually get each line of NICTO output as a separate finding. So it's running a little bit quicker than I really anticipated. Where do you get it? Go to seccubus.com. I'll be taking some questions then. Okay. Cool. I have one other thing. You saw C. Lulis. I ripped the shirt off his back. So anybody willing to... I said I would try to make Christian Riley wear it, but he bluntly refuses it. So who's willing to take that off my hand for a nice